back to another episode of Path to Pro, the Basketball Fixers series where we look at the Next Star program and the players that are draft eligible from the NBL. Now, last week we looked at Karim Lopez. We dived into his game, his stats, and the way he plays. And this week, I'm going to take a look at Malique Lewis. I think this guy, playing for Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, has a lot of potential, and he's probably quite far down the ranks at the moment, but it's interesting to dive into each of these players as we go along through the season, and Malique is no different to that. I'm also going to catch up with a Clippers fan, Keith Wong, who was at the first game of the Clippers at the new Intuit Dome in California there. So fantastic. We'll be catching up with Keith a little bit later in the show. But first off, as I said, we will be talking about Malique Lewis. And so Malique is playing for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and a guy that he's has grown up in, or was born and grown up in Trinidad and Tobago, and then moved over to Spain at quite a young age. So it was about 14 or 15 when he moved over to Spain and become part of an academy there to play basketball. And basketball isn't a massive sport in Trinidad and Tobago. It's more football or soccer, whatever you want to call it there. And so he took a bit of a different line, and growing up, it wasn't a very stable upbringing for Malique. He lived with his extended family, with his grandparents, and then, as I said, when he was 14 or 15, travelled to Spain to pursue a career in basketball. He then spent 2 seasons with Fuenlabrada in the Spanish League, and then went over to Mexico City Capitans to play in the G League as, again, another young talent in the G League. He played 50 games for the Capitans, averaged about 25 minutes, 8.3 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and shot 34.4% from 3. Now, Malique brought into this Next Star program, and if you look at the kind of not the dimensions, but the other players that are in this Next Star program, Malique doesn't have really the star power as, your Rocco Zakarskis or your Alex Tui or, your Alex Sarr we had last season. Malique is a more of a kind of grinded out kind of player, and I think it's good that there is this kind of balance within the Next Star program, that we're looking across the whole precipice of what players can offer, and it's not just chasing those big stars to try and get them to the NBL instead of going to college. Malique has played in all 5 games so far this season for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and he has started one. So the most recent game against Brisbane he started, which unfortunately was a loss for the Phoenix. But I want to touch on that game a little bit more in just a second. On the season, he's averaging about 17.5 minutes on the court, 6.6 points with about 5.5 shots per game. It's a 44% rate there from the field. He's shooting about 2.5 shots from beyond the perimeter this season. Not a very good percentage, only 27.3% so far this season, but we do know that he is a quite good shooter if you're looking back to his time with the Capitans and also in the preseason, which I'll also get into in just a moment. From the free throw line, he's 6 of 7, so hasn't been getting there a lot, but when he is there, he makes the most of the opportunities. 3.5 rebounds per game, and then pretty much a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, but not very high numbers, so only 0.4 assists and 0.4 turnovers for Malique so far this season. So in the start that he had against Brisbane, you could really see that he took advantage of his opportunity there and finished the game with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist in the 28 minutes. Now, as I said, Malique isn't the kind of guy that your team is going to turn to produce 30 points a night or make those big clutch plays, but he is a great up and down guy, a two-way player, great defensive, knows where to be on the court. I have some video further as we get into this episode, which I want to go through as well with Malique's games, both from the NBL and also from his time in the G League. And you can see just the way his perspective on the game and the way he moves, and then you look at his shot as well. It's not a bad shot. I think it's just the repetitions need to come in. He's still a very young guy, and I think that shot will continue to improve as time goes on. As I said, Malique playing for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, it's a pretty tough situation to be in. The Phoenix just fired their coach, Mike Kelly, and they're 0-5 to start the season, which is not a fantastic spot to be in for a person that wants to have a bit of limelight and get noticed by NBA teams. Malique, unfortunately, in that situation, but he has a great development coach in Adam Gibson there at the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, who it almost entirely works just on Malique and making sure that he is in the right space, the right frame of mind. He's getting the development he needs to continue his career and his development within this Next Star program, but also as a basketball player and a person. Malique, as we spoke about with Kareem last weekend, has no family, no friends in when he came to Australia. And for a young person moving, it's such a big challenge to make that move and not have anybody to kind of rest your head on or help you to get through the challenges of not only in your work life but your normal life as well. So Adam is the rock that Malique kind of has there to build his foundation on, and Adam is a great former player, and from what I've seen on a documentary that the NBL released on a short documentary on Malique recently, he's just a great guy, Adam, that is supporting Malique all through this process. On that documentary as well, you could hear that Malique spoke about his decision to sign with Southeast Melbourne after a conversation with Mike Kelly, the coach that has now been fired from the Phoenix, and it was that discussion that brought him to take the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. There was another team that was interested. He didn't name which team it was, but you could maybe take a guess whether it was maybe Cairns or Melbourne United, but he went with Southeast Melbourne, and because of Mike Kelly. Now, with Mike Kelly gone, I wonder if that changes the dynamics or the feeling around Malique, both from his own perspective, but also from the club perspective. It wouldn't be weird that happens. You see it all the time in professional sports, where a coach or a general manager gets the boot. They have built the team that they think is great and important, and the next incoming coach or GM maybe doesn't have that same perspective on the players. But I don't think it's the case here. I think Sam McKinnon, who is the caretaker coach now for the Phoenix, spoke very highly of Malique in the documentary that I watched from the NBL, and I believe that he is doing all he can in terms of helping Malique in his development as a basketball player, while also taking care of the team and trying to get their first win on the board. With that said, I think Malique has been given some great opportunities and will continue to get them throughout the season. I just hope that he maybe takes a bit more of a step forward in his game. You see the numbers, and they're not stacking up quite as well as maybe Izan Almansa or Alex Tui or Karim Lopez. Rocco isn't getting a lot of game time, so his numbers are better than Rocco's, but I think Rocco's ceiling is probably a little bit high when it comes to where these players fall in the draft. Now, speaking on where these players rank, if you look at the most recent top 100 list from the ESPN, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen for those of you that are watching. Malique was ranked number 76 on the ESPN 100 list. So outside the second round, but is still a chance, I think, to get into that second round and take a spot there. He's ranked, I think it was number 19. I'm just going to bring up the number here. Now, top 20 ranking as a power forward for the upcoming draft. Now, that still, as I said, puts him outside the second round when you factor in all the other positions that are going into the rankings. But Malique has the opportunity this season to really hone his skills as a two-way player, and there are multiple teams that need that type of player on their team. He's 202 centimeters, 88 kilos, and still growing. So the opportunity for him is there if he's willing to take it and he's able to develop the skills as a defensive player, as a threat from beyond the arc. That is something that he can, grab with two hands. And you heard Carmelo Anthony speak about Malique Lewis while he was in Australia, that he has the the possibility in front of him. And he, again, just needs to take the opportunity, work on his skills, and accept that he is that kind of two-way player. Hone in on your defense, be really strong on that defensive end, and then hit the baskets or be in the right spots on the offensive end when it counts. So if you look at his preseason form, you could see that Southeast Melbourne gave him the opportunity to shoot the ball, and especially in 2 games where he put up 6 shots from 3, and then another game where he put 5 shots from 3. So they have said to him at different points of this season and the preseason, have a go, mate. If you get the ball in your hand, you're open, have a shot. If you look at his percentage, I mentioned at the start of the show, 34.4% from 3 while he was with the Capitans in the G League. The last 10 games of the season he played there, he was shooting over 40% from 3. So he does have it in him to get on a roll and get hot if he's kind of settled into that role. In the preseason, the 5 games he played, averaged around 25 minutes, 8.6 points per game. He scored a 15 out of 10 in I think it was those 2 games where he's putting up a little bit more from 3. 40% field goal percentage, 32% from 3. So again, he's getting shots from outside. Probably will need to improve that if he's going to be a kind of 3-and-D guy in the NBA moving forward. 3.5 rebounds. 5 rebounds per game. So he has the length and athleticism, and this is something with Malique, that his athleticism is unparalleled to a lot of guys on this Southeast Melbourne team and a lot of guys in the NBL. He's a rangy and athletic guy. He can jump and he can run, and you can see it when we look at these highlights in just a moment how athletic he is. And I think he probably can take that and work with it to his advantage to make a bit more of a splash, so he can maybe get a couple more rebounds a game or try and work for some lobs or something like that to get on top of other guys and make stamp his mark on the game. Elite athleticism and defense. He also seems to be liked within the team, which is important, I think, as well as a young guy. And when you're going to try and enter the NBA, you want to be a personable player and be able to fit in with the team. I think it's just as important when you're having those interviews with GMs and coaches and doing workouts that you're a kind of person that enjoys life and enjoys being part of a team, enjoys playing basketball. And in a few clips that I watched of this NBL documentary on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, you could see just the sheer kind of glee on the faces of the Phoenix players when Malique is involved, and the camaraderie around that, which is fantastic to see for a guy that is new to the team. Well, they are all new. There's 9 new players on that roster, and that Malique is finding his spot in that team and is enjoying himself, it's great to see. Now, if we have a look at his a bit of the video that I've pulled up here on Malique. For those of you that are just listening on the podcast, I'm going to try and explain this as best as possible. So the first game we're going to look at here is against the Adelaide 36ers early this season. The Southeast Melbourne have the ball outside the perimeter, and I can't see who it is, Glover maybe. He's attacking the rim, and Malique is on the outside of the perimeter, maybe waiting for a spot up 3, sees that his teammate driving towards the basket. There's a lane is opened up for Malique, and he attacks it straight away, gets the bounce pass, and then finishes for an uncontested dunk. So quite an athletic game process there. Again, attacks the basket, a nice Euro step around a couple of Brisbane Bullets players to finish at the rim. The next clip here, he's working off the ball, has his eyes on, I think it's Derek Walton Jr. that he's getting locked up out at the logo. All the Brisbane players are looking at the ball. Malique kind of slides around behind his player, and as Brisbane try and rotate around, slips behind the back, gets a lovely pass up above the heads there from Derek Walton Jr. and he finishes again at the rim. So this is what I spoke about a bit earlier, that if he can get more of this in his game where he's attacking the basket at the right times, has a bit more aggression, then he's going to get those balls, because Walton Jr. is an assist machine. He can just dish them out. You've got multiple guys on that Southeast Melbourne team that can pass the ball to Malique to be able to finish at the rim. So a great effort there from Malique. Here we're going to look at his shot. So wide open three there. Pretty easy shot. Another wide open three. Contested there, sorry. Not a great big jumper in his jump shot. Only gets a couple of centimeters off the ground, but he is a long guy. When you're coming up against NBA players who are much bigger and much quicker, I think he's probably going to have to adjust his shot to be a little bit quicker and maybe get some more lift off the ground to get above those players. But that's something that he'll probably be working on with Gibbo there to improve his shot. We'll continue on. Nice swish there. Here is a kind of an assist, and then he gets it back. So another highlight here from the Brisbane game. He meets the point guard out on the top of the key. Melbourne Phoenix are spreading the floor. Malique comes out, gets the ball, puts a little bit of like a ball screen on Derek Walton Jr., who goes around and gets the pass from him. And then he's wide open at the top of the key. So this must be a set play that they've worked on. And as easy as you like, spots up and shoots it from distance and a swish there. So now we're going into his time in the G League and looking at his defense. So a prolific blocker in these couple of plays, playing against I think it was the San Diego or the Clippers G League team there. So he's manning up on his player, stays in front the whole way, forcing his player to put up a pretty bad shot in the end, then he blocks it out of the court. As I said, a athletic guy who doesn't have a problem staying in front of his opponent because he's so rangy and his legs are so long. He can get in front and move his frame to stop that kind of drive around and the hook arm that is quite common now in basketball, and try and get around that player. And he done a great job that in the most recent clip we saw here. So now another clip coming up, and again, sorry about the quality of these clips. They're not great, but you can still see kind of what's going on. Malique coming from the weak side to affect the block. I'm going to rewind that and watch it again. So his opposition has a bit of a fast break down the court. Malique leaves his player who kind of fades out for an open three, but he made that IQ decision that, okay, I think this guy's going to try and attack the basket. How can I then play my defensive presence and affect the shot, which he does. He runs right in, waits for the opportune moment, gets up above the rim and swats the ball. Another weak side defensive pressure there that he adds to the game for the Capitanas. Now, as I said, Malique is a fantastic prospect. He has the opportunity to become an NBA player. I think he has the body, the athleticism, the IQ to be an NBA player. His problem is going to be that he just needs to get noticed by a team. He's quite far down the rankings as it is right now. And as a two-way player, you're not kind of commanding the same spotlight as a lot of other scorers or great defensive players or outside shooters. But you will be respected by a lot of people and a lot of players if you can prove your worth. So all he has to do is get a little bit better maybe from the three, or be more aggressive in defense or getting up to those lobs. And I think you'll see his opportunities open up a little bit more, both for Southeast Melbourne, but even in this upcoming draft. Now, that was Malique Lewis, and straight after this break, we're going to bring in Keith Wong, who is an Australian travelling in the US right now and has been to the very first Clippers game at Intuit Dome. We'll be right back with Keith in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. And with me now on screen and on the pod, I have Clippers fan Keith, who has come from Australia, lives in Adelaide, and has been in the US and was part of the Clippers' very first game at the Intuit Dome. And Keith, I couldn't, as a diehard Clippers fan, I couldn't not get you on to have a chat about this experience that you've had, mate. Tell us, what was the reason for you going to this first Clippers game at Intuit Dome, and how was the experience?
Um, hey there, everybody. Honestly, it's such an honor, I would say, like because as a Clippers fan, like everyone knows that we don't have a home at all, as since like Staples Center or even like the Crypto.com arena. So I couldn't imagine I'd be there like the first, really like the first game, not like the season opening, but like the first game in Intuit Dome. It's such a thing for me. Like, yeah, I never expect I would be there, honestly. Yeah, so good.
Mate, that is fantastic. And how long have you been a Clippers supporter for?
Um, since like I was like I would say 10 years old, like maybe like 13 years ago, like back in like the Lob City era. So yeah, really like much like 13 years ago for me. Yeah.
Yeah. That was also when I fell in love with the teammate back in Lob City days. I
Yeah.
also went to an opening night game with the Clippers and the Lakers at Staples. And I thought, this has to be my team. They're a fantastic outfit. Still
Yeah.
haven't won a championship, but maybe soon.
I hope so. Same. Yeah.
And you're
Looking forward.
repping a new Clippers jumper there. As we were
Yeah.
getting on here, you called it Zubac Nation, right?
Yeah, basically, there's a trend on the X or Twitter, which like there's like a lot of fans that really like following Subac, how he plays, like last season or like a couple of seasons ago, because me and other people like still believe in Subac. He could be like the next man up mentality, and he'll be the next guy that we can rely on scoring or and also like both defensive and offensively. So that's the reason why the Subach Nation thing is there. But it's not like Subach seasons or Subach Nation is something on the X. Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll have to get on those trends as well then to try and get some more people following and listening. Now, mate, walk us
Yeah.
through the experience you had at the Intuit Dome. When you get to the arena, what is the feeling
Yeah.
like? What's it like coming inside and then coming to your seats?
Honestly, once I arrived, the entrance of the Intuit Dome, like it's so different from all the arena I've been to because during the trip I've been to a couple of different arenas, so um it shows so different like type of the vibe and also the sort of environment. Once you enter like you have to go through like a digital like they have an Intuit Dome app, like they have a new application compared to other stadium. You just use the QR code or the barcode, but they need to go through like face scanning and all the things. Um, yeah, and there's some basketball ground around inside the Intuit Dome and also a lot of facility. But once I enter and um, get on like the seats, because I'm kind of like in the middle part of the entire arena, I'm sitting like in the middle, so it's just amazing. Like uh, the wall, as maybe a lot of Clippers fans knows that like the wall, I'm so it's just crazy. Like I didn't expect like wow, how come like an arena can design like a sort of different way, and yeah, that's really crazy. I'm just
Was the
I'm just saying like it's
sound like
fantastic.
the sound in the arena? Was it kind of all around you and the wall, the fans? Were they
Uh,
like? How did it
yeah,
sound?
yeah. Because as the interview was kind of new, they got I guess the best I would say sound sort of like they got all the equipment, the sound equipment like from all the roof because it's quite the Intuitum is quite tall in terms of it's quite big. So they got like the speaker all around surrounding it. So the sound from like before the game like during 6 p.m. like the game starts 7 p.m. they start playing some music and there was kind of like yeah it's pretty um I say it gets around by like a lot of sound song and it's just 360 degrees, not like um in front of you the sound and also like the wall. Even though I'm sitting opposite side of the wall, I can hear what they're saying and what they're doing. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
And that's really cool, man. And when
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you've been to a few different arenas and watched basketball games. Did you feel as a fan that you were even, depending on where you were sitting, that you were had a better view or closer to the game? Because I know that Steve Ballmer has kind of spoken about with the design of the stadium or the arena that every single fan needed to feel like that they were right there.
Hmm. Um, Honestly, I feel much close, I would say, compared to like because I've been to like the Seattle Storm like the Climate Lodge arena recently, and also the Hawaii stadium for the college basketball. So this is the two college like stadium I've been to. So if you ask me, I can feel much closer in into a dome because I can get more involved in the game because you can see like you can clearly see the players, and also there's the hood things up on the roof. You can see all the stat, all the things, and even like the replay. They have like multi-angles replay camera. So honestly, it's just you can as like Mr. Ballmer mentioned, you can see the things like clearly, the game details, and even like yeah. Even like just a single, for example, like a dunk or even a foul, they will just be able to play with it. And yeah, it's just different. Um, and so detailed. Like honestly, yeah,
Okay, mate. So you've been to a Clippers game at Intuit Dome. You've gone now from the West Coast. We're traveling from the West Coast over to the East Coast. What are your plans while you're in the US, apart from catching a Clippers game?
honestly, because this is like my graduation like trip. I'm just graduate from university. It's kind of the thing for me. I just try to do wherever I want in the state because I've never been here long than American. And uh, after like just after the Clippers, obviously the basketball thing, they like these three sort of games. I'm gonna go to East Coast to go for like Toronto Raptors game and the next New York Knicks game and also like a Boston Celtics game. So that's pretty much I want to do in North America and obviously some tourists the purest thing is obviously in the checklist for me. So yeah, that's pretty much I'll do in the record. Yeah,
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you very much for jumping on and giving us
yeah,
some insight into what it was like to go to the Intuit Dome. That's on my bucket list, very high up to go over and
yeah,
watch a Clippers game there and experience the
yeah,
whole thing. It's so cool.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the obviously that's that I mean the best thing I ever like been to like the arena because I've been to like pretty much a lot of arena, a lot of basketball games that I never expect like this kind of involvement during the game and they got like the seat they got I mean that could be an advantage. They got like a USB charging and you got like I don't know like as Mr. Bowman mentioned there's a lot of toilet. That's true, that's a fact. And there's like some games during there's like sort of like mini games and on your seat there's like a panel for you to play and get involved during the game. So yeah, that must be a bucket list for every single Clippers fan. See.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much once again and enjoy the
Yeah,
rest of your graduation trip while you're in the US.
yeah. Thank you very much.